Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. We're looking at a guitar solo today, and I've not done one of these videos in a while, so bear with me if I seem a bit rusty. The solo in question is from a song called Love Walked In by a band called Thunder. It comes from their debut album from 1990 and was played by Luke Morley, the band's lead guitar player and main songwriter. I could wax lyrical for quite some time actually about why I think Luke and his band Thunder are criminally underrated and overlooked, but I'll save that for another video. What we'll do now is just get straight on and have a listen and a look at the solo. So there you go, that is the solo we're dealing with today. Let's take a little bit of an overview here. It uses the F major scale, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, and the song and the solo itself, incidentally, are kind of alternating between two different tonalities of like an F major tonality, and you'd be thinking there, well, that'd be the key of F major or F Ionian mode, and more of a D minor tonality, so you'd be probably thinking the D natural minor key or the D Aeolian mode, depending on how you want to look at it. I've broken the solo down into 5 different sections, and we're going to look at each one in turn, starting with, as you would expect, section 1. This is basically a question and answer kind of deal going on here. You've got a question phrase and an answer phrase. So many times we see this kind of layout of phrases in solos because it works. It's interesting to note here a couple of things about this phrase or this pair of phrases. First of all is that we're not starting on the downbeat of the bar. Okay, we're starting I think on the back end of beat 3 of the counting, and that's on the question part of the phrase, and the answer part of the phrase I think starts on beat 4 of the bar as well. So avoiding beginning on beat 1 of the bar is often a good ploy. It's not something you have to do all the time, but it does generally make your phrases sound that little bit more like they're interlocking, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The other thing of note here is that the main focus of the first lick is that big 12th fret bend taking a G up to an A. So we're focusing here on an A note over a B flat major 7th chord, which is, you know, a nice little bit of clever chord note targeting where you're focusing in on one of the notes from the underlying chord. Quite often what happens is that you focus on the root or the 3rd or the 5th, but, you know, Luke here quite cleverly zones in on the major 7th note of the chord. Anyway, enough jabbering. Here is what that lick sounds like. Okay, moving on to the second segment of the solo we're going to look at here. Again, it's very much a question and answer format. The question part of the phrase begins on the and of beat 1 with that big 15th fret bend, again up to an A note. And then the answer part of the phrase actually does begin on the downbeat of the bar. But two things make it sound interesting. First of all, we've got a little bit of rhythmic displacement going on here, where what's happening is he's playing a lick that is 1.5 beats long. So when he kind of plays it the first time, it's beginning on the beat, and then just because of the physics of it, I guess you'd say, that when he plays it for a second time, it is automatically going to start off the beat, so it's displaced rhythmically. It's a very handy little tool to make a repetitive phrase sound very strong. The other thing that's making this phrase sound strong, especially like the answer part of it, is that he's locked into that riff that the band are playing underneath him. Here's what it all sounds like put together. Okay, the third part of the solo is, of course, the obligatory flashy bit. This is simply just a descending legato sequence that culminates on the F note, which is the root note of the F major chord where the lick ends. It's quite a flashy little thing to play, and we'll have a look at how you can learn it in a second. But to me, it's a really good example of how to put a speedy lick into a solo that serves a purpose. It's building up tension as he's descending that flashy run, and then the tension is resolved by locking onto a very, very strong chord note. Then when we targeted the major seventh note of the B flat in the first lick, well, he's notably not doing anything like that. He's already built up the tension with the speedy run, and then he's bringing it home nice and safely to land on a very, very strong chord note. You don't get much stronger than the root note. Here's what it all looks and sounds like played at full speed. Here's what it looks like at a much slower speed, and hopefully you can see that it's nothing to get worried about. Here's what it's like nice and slow. So there you go, that shouldn't be too difficult. Just memorise the locations of the fingers. As I should have said already, actually, there is a full tab for the solo down in the description box below in both PDF and Guitar Pro format, whichever floats your boat, really. So just grab a hold of that and just go through the lick and make sure that it's, that you kind of build it into muscle memory. That's a secret to learning anything like that. Okay, lick 4. Once again, we're kind of locking into that syncopated riff that the band is playing, and it all culminates in a massive sustained bend from a C up to a D note that because Luke was stood in front of what sounded like an immense wall of Marshall JCM 800s, he can get that note to sustain a lot easier than I did. But it really is just kind of honing in on that D minor tonality where the note is sustained over that D minor riff that underpins the song in various places throughout the song. Here's what it all sounds and looks like. And now we come on to the final lick of the solo, which to me is, I think, one of the best parts of it. It's just that nice legato-y kind of descent back into the pre-chorus where the vocals actually enter on the song. It's nothing particularly flashy or clever, but it just sounds really cool. And once again, notice how he's finishing on an F note, which is the root note of the F major chord that the lick culminates on. Again, a very strong note choice, and it really does wrap up and tie up any remaining sense of tension or movement in the solo. It's a great way of drawing the listener into land, if you see what I mean. It just kind of makes it all sound like it's concluding, which is what it's doing. So there you go, that is the guitar solo from Love Walked In by Thunder as played by Luke Morley. I hope you've enjoyed this little solo analysis. I hope you found it informative, useful, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. And if you have, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and why not give me a like while you're at it. And I'll just round off, as I always do, by reminding you that I have some courses on sale from my website. There's a course on making the modes easy, demystifying the whole topic of modes, making it as easy as it actually is, because I've always thought it's an easy topic to get my head round, and it's just often explained in a rather complex way. Not here. Everything is explained in nice, plain, clear English with no jargon. You get licks, you get jam tracks, you get tabs, you get loads and loads of stuff to get your teeth into. If that's a little bit too rich for your palate, then check out the course I've got called Play Lead Guitar the Easy Way, a real entry-level introduction to playing some great lead guitar parts. You will be playing solos immediately with this course. If you are a complete newbie to playing lead guitar, this is the course you need. And finally, there's one that's a bit more blues focused. This is for the intermediate to advanced blues guitarist who's basically a little bit bored with just noodling around a minor pentatonic all the time and wants to get their teeth into something a little bit more sophisticated. Once again, licks, tabs, jam tracks, loads of plain English explanations. You will want for nothing in your quest to improve your blues guitar playing if you check out this course. But all three courses are available on my website. You can see the link there in the on screen and in the description box, and they're taught through the Udemy tuition platform, where people are giving all three courses rather good reviews. So check out the reviews, see what you think. You can also preview the courses as well. You know, there's a free preview on each course, so you can check it out before you decide whether you're going to commit to it or not. So check them out, and you might just find something of use there. On the other hand, if you would like some tailored one-to-one guitar tuition, you can get in touch with me via the details at the end of this video. If you live on Teesside in the northeast of England, you can come along for a face-to-face lesson, or wherever else you are in the world, you can have a lesson via Skype. And whichever way you do it, your first lesson is of course free. So what have you got to lose? Why not give it a go? And with that, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you for watching, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time around. Bye for now, folks.